morning and thank you for tuning in to the Gillanor News Network, GNN. Adventurers woke up this morning to gnome gliders flying through the skybox with banners pointing them towards the new Clan Wars worlds and the Clan Wars minigame itself. While on Clan Wars worlds, adventurers found that Lothus has decided that adventurers must take the Guthix portal. Adventurers are no longer able to choose teams. Sire, Dominant, Zamaraki, and cult members, lobbyists are planning a protest. In order to placate the other religions, Lothus is allowing Saradomin and Zamorak as a choice of team on non-Clan Wars worlds. Segregation has never ended well historically, but GNN is ready to report on the outcome. Contestants have also found that they are now allowed to wear helmets in the arena. While more gear has made them more powerful, PvP-focused adventurers have found it more difficult to lick the cave walls as they await entry. Castle Wars bracelets, check the wiki, these exist. Adventurers are now able to store them with Lothus. Lothus also made changes to the Castle Wars brews that are available inside of the arena. In addition to the stat boosting effects, they now give the effects of a stamina and stupor restore. Onlookers are finding that adventurers have a couple less excuses for their deaths on the battlefield. The band-aids within the battlefield also scale with the hit points level of an adventurer, and even overheal. Poor adventurers will find that they will be able to cast spells without owning runes while on the battlefield. Lothus has partnered with Aubrey at the Varrock rune shop to offer adventurers free runes while on the battlefield. Spells cast with these runes will not reward experience, but they will reward memories. The reward scheme that Game Master Lothus offers has seen some restructuring, awarding more tickets and, when playing on a Clan Wars world, a new plotted currency that can be exchanged for supplies. Lothus is literally paying people to play his game. What is his business model? You may notice from the footage that our ground team has gathered that Castle Wars is the most popular it has been in years. Economists from the University of Ardoon point to this particular change being why. Lothus is offering more tickets to winners, especially winners on the dedicated Castle Wars worlds. Horrible on the battlefield? No worries. Lothus is now offering participation reward tickets. Ah man, participation rewards brings me back to my human Little League Gnome Ball days. My team and I came into the office this morning with reports from adventurers that the various gardeners across Gillanor have been trapped inside of what they described as invisible cages. Our ground crew was able to investigate and gather these testimonials.
Hey, I don't know who's responsible for this, but I haven't been able to eat all morning. I have to report to duty in an hour. If I ain't out of here by then, I swear I'll double all your protection fees. It sure would be a shame if your trees were to get a little sick now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is a little weird, actually. I'm underselling it. Look, I always wondered where the gardeners got their compost from, and today I found out. I kid you not. I saw Marisi pull out a bucket and take a
Thank you to our ground crew. Wow. Back in the studio, we have Nomad from Soul Wars on the Commorp. Nomad, thank you for being with us this morning. What do you make of this gardener situation?
Yeah, Walter. Thanks for having me. Keen-eyed adventurers noticed that the leprechauns moved. I'm going to be upfront with you, Walter. I smell a conspiracy. Leprechauns are known for their magic, and I believe this is some globe-trotterous conspiracy. I mean, come on, this is right from their Fairies Flight playbook. The leprechauns are turning the farmer's gas.
Yeah, sorry about that one, folks. In other news, we have updates on the changes Lanthus made to the Castle Wars reward structure. Many outlets reported adventurers attempting to turn in their shiny new plaudits last week, only for Lanthus to put a pause on his distribution of Castle Wars supply crates. Only moments ago did Lanthus begin letting players redeem their plaudits for the supply crates again. Many adventurers are accusing Lanthus of watering down the value of the currently distributed supply crates. When GNN reached out to Lanthus for comment, he had the following to say. Quote, "Adventurers will find that the Castle Wars supply crates will leave adventurers feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. I can assure you that the value of Castle Wars supply crates have not changed, as they are still worth one plaudit." In other news, the Shazian army is warning citizens of increased demonic activity at the Chasm of Fire. Lord Shiro has reassured the citizens of Shazian and the greater Corinth area that there is no need to be alarmed. Lord Shiro and his officers are convinced that, quote, Some Turbo Chad with a Dwarven multi-cannon will stop by and cull the demons inside after giving up on trying to get a tormented synapse beneath the backwater dump some call Lumbridge. Deeply offended by this comment, Duke Horatio from Lumbridge had the following to say: I don't know what's greater, my belief that you look like a goblin, or my deep-seated hatred for you. All I know is that I'm now interested in joining Ham. The leading story this morning is one that many of you may have attended. Over the weekend, thousands of Gillanorians made their way to the Gary Gilbert annual house party. The name may be deceiving because the party spilled out of Gary's house and into Gillanor itself. At one point, every patch of dirt and stone on the ice mountain was covered by partygoers. While many in attendance knew of Gary Gilbert as the famous free-to-play documentarian, many are now saying that Gary Gilbert is now more famous for his ability to throw certified bangers in the house party market. Many other famous Gillanorians were also in attendance, like Gillanor Games' very own Soup. Oh, sorry, I must clarify, Soup was never offered as an entree during the house party, but the celebrity known as Soup was in attendance. Accurate reporting is always priority number one here at GNN. On to our primary story today. Our producer is informing me that viewer discretion is advised before we move on to this next segment. With that warning out of the way, it is our bittersweet announcement that Easter is kicking off in Varrock. Well, sort of. Really not at all. The citizens are ready, but it appears the Easter Bunny is not. Our ground team went to the Varrock West Bank to gather some B-roll for this morning's broadcast, but sadly, we're only able to gather what you're viewing now. Looking for a lead, one team member had a chat with a concerned citizen, who pointed us towards a trail of carrots leading to the forest behind the house of the local cat breeder, Gertrude. The trail led to this hole just outside of the western wall of Varrock. The tunnel led on underground until getting to what our team estimated was to be right below the Blue Moon Inn. Inside, the team was able to find the Easter Bunny and get this GNN exclusive interview.
Yeah, I'm the Easter Bunny. Was it you? Huh? I hear from up top from you people is where is the Easter Bunny? How come it's never... How is the Easter Bunny? Do you have any idea that the Sparrow Bunny must be feeling to burrow a full length of a gnome ball field to steal some of Uncle Humphrey's gut rot from the Blue Moon Inn? I was a good bunny. The best. Kids love me. About 20 years ago, I gave out eggs that made everyone millionaires. But now all I serve is as a husk of what I once was. I show my face every year just for some so-called adventurer. They come up to my face and just ignore everything I say until I give them some sort of cute outfit. I ain't a bunny no more. I'm an Easter-themed vending machine.
Wow, that's actually so sad. Anyways, the Bank of Gillanor is proposing a new look for their teller windows. Currently, the window looks like this. As you can see in this impoverished adventurer's bank, they gave as an example. The customer service team at the Bank of Gillanor is proposing a new change that should help adventurers access their services more easily. Economists from the University of Ardoon are campaigning with the Bank of Gillanor to help increase adoption by the hundreds of thousands of adventurers who use the Bank of Gillanor services on a daily basis, knowing that they are probably not looking forward to using the services of this bank, being that they opened up services under their accounts without their approval. The feature adventurers are most excited for is the new location of the help button, as many adventurers find themselves losing hours of their years from having tapped it on accident. GNN tried reaching out to adventurers who do not use the Bank of Gillanor services, the self-titled Ultimate Iron Men, but sadly, none of them were able to comment as they were too busy licking the windows of the Farming Guild. And regrettably, our last bit of news is a retraction. Last week, we reported that various leprechauns and gardeners around Gillanor had moved. Fortunately, Nan has indeed been let out of the invisible cage. Nomad from Soul Wars, who we had on the show last week, sent us a message from his comm orb saying that he believes the leprechauns have gotten what they wanted, and that adventurers should, quote, keep an eye out for the leprechauns advancing their plans that involve a demonic pact with the demon named Yama. Wait, really? Nomad is off his rock. I mean, everything is conspiracy to this loot. Yama isn't even a demon on Gillanor. I mean, come on. The Shazian authorities assured us the demonic activity at the Chasm of Fire is nothing to worry about. Our leading story this morning is some serious monkey business. Adventurers in search of Zenite shards strolled into the cavern under the crash site behind the Grand Tree this morning to find something different. The demonic gorillas are no longer aggressive. With curiosity spreading faster than a PKer chasing down a spade, GNN sent its ground crew in to investigate. Inside, we found Larry from the Ardoon Zoo, who was able to give us information on what was going on. Our ground team is live with Larry now via our studio's comm. Larry, thank you for agreeing to do this interview with GNN. What is going on in that cavern?
The gorillas aren't aggressive because I made it so. I needed to study these creatures, and whenever I would come in here before, the monkeys would throw rocks and shoot cabbage clouds at me every time. My ring of life would send me right back to Falador. So, I worked together with Lalo, the supervisor of the Alchemical Society in Alderaan, to reverse engineer the newly discovered goading potion and create a new substance that does the opposite. Then, all I had to do was combine it with poison dynamite and detonate them around the cavern, and boom! No more aggressive gorillas.
That sounds like quite a lot of work, Larry. What exactly does the Ardoon Zoo hope to understand about these monkeys?
First of all, Walter, these are gorillas, not monkeys. I know that Slayer Masters propagate this misunderstanding by allowing these demonic gorillas to be slain on a monkey task, but that is just simply bad zoology. What I am doing here is investigating how susceptible the demonic gorillas would be to being controlled by penguin technology.
Sorry, Larry, are you here on your own? Is this not an Ardoon Zoo project? And what is this about penguin technology? Are you saying that these gorillas could be served by the technology that the Ardoon Zoo uses to take care of the penguins?
Oh, Walter, you sweet summer child, I admit, yes, this is not an Ardoon Zoo official business. Yes, this is a pet project of mine, and yes, I am on thin ice with my employer, but finally I say to you that no, I am not worried about being kicked out of my mother's basement. I've been telling people for years that the penguins are up to something. I even paid an adventurer to infiltrate the penguins, and they discovered a base north of the Fremennik province. The penguins are planning to take over Gillanor. They have a giant mechanized penguin. I'm telling you, we have to make sure the penguins don't take control of these gorillas.
Right. Larry, what's next? That we're gonna be able to control the weather? What a loon. Moving on to the next story, we heard reports that every adventurer this morning has started receiving messages on their comm whenever they regain consciousness. Oh, sorry, for those of you that are unaware, adventurers lose consciousness once at least every 6 hours. The time that adventurers take to regain consciousness varies. For some adventurers, they regain consciousness immediately. For others, it is a few to several hours, and for some truly unlucky adventurers, they are still unconscious after decades. Now, that all viewers are on the same page, these comm messages appear to be coming from the sender named Derek Idino, who has D Iduno listed as their comm nickname. We reached out to D Iduno for comment, and we received this voice message.
If you're poisoned, you can access your bank and right-click the health icon on your mini-map, and you'll automatically use a dose of anti-poison from your bank. If you hold any anti-poison or
This morning's leading story is about Port Khazard. Earlier this week, viewers were reporting that Port Khazard had slain the awakened leviathan 54 times without visiting a bank. We immediately sent our ground crew to Port Khazard for an interview.
I just run the trawler around here at the park. I haven't even slain a leviathan, let alone an awakened one. I mean, shoot, I didn't even slay more than a sea turtle. I mean, I definitely no sea turtle slaying on my trawler. And nope, we love turtles. I don't even use straws, to be honest.
Murphy? Who's Murphy? That didn't seem conclusive at all. Do we have another clip? Oh well. That said, if these reports are true, anything less than 54 kills in one trip is some noob-type content now. I remember in the past all Gillanorians stood in awe of what that adventurer Wooks could do. Oh man. I really miss him. Speaking of killing monsters, the abyssal sire sent in a message that adventurers were defeating it much more quickly. Its respiratory system seems to be weaker. When we asked the sire why this may have happened, it shared that it recently mortgaged some of its strengths with the demon of Pax, Yama. Wait, isn't this the demon that Nomad from Soul Wars mentioned? That can't be right. What is right, however, is that the prudes over on Entrana are getting with the times and letting adventurers bring imcando hammers to the island. Some of the monks shared that this progressive theology is exactly what the Zamorakian worshippers would do. This change comes after the historical murder of a monk on Entrana at the hands of a, what? Mithril bow sword? Oh, this is what the writers are doing these days, making stuff up. Oh, please. Queen Elamaria of Varrock is also pleading, for what you may ask, that adventurers stop hopping over her trellis. The vines she is growing are delicate, and the constant shouts of parkour are waking up King Rolls from his afternoon nap. Queen Elamaria insisted that we also report that chinchompas, what she calls her furry friends, are now laying on the ground when released instead of running away. We would reach out to Larry from the Ardoon Zoo for an explanation, but his episode on last week's broadcast has made us fear that future appearances could reduce our credibility. King Rold would only let us air this segment if we clarified that Queen Elamaria's furry friends were indeed chinchompas and not the, people that go to the one convention at the Felidor Party Room every year. In other news, earlier this week there was a brief announcement from the Justice Administration and Governors of Exchange, more commonly known as Jagex. For those unaware, Jagex is the arbitrator that creates rules for the Grand Exchange and the various kingdoms of Gillanor. In this announcement, Jagex made Gillanorians aware of their efforts to punish criminals. Since January, unlicensed advertising, what some call spam, has been cracked down on, resulting in over 5,000 mutes as reported by Jagex. Since March, citizens responsible for reporting rule breakers are now notified in the message section of their Jagex account on their ComOrb. Soon, all support requests will be made available through this location. Speaking of soon, Jagex announced they are pursuing expedited response times of less than 48 hours. This summer, Jagex also plans on starting a campaign to increase Jagex account adoption among citizens. For citizens worried about criminals hacking into their Jagex account, they should be able to rest more easily, as Jagex has also announced that account hijacking detection will be arriving this summer as well. If some citizens have found themselves being a victim of a false conviction, they should look forward to the improved appeal process that should arrive this summer. The last feature Jagex announced was that after summer ends, their support team will be available through a live chat feature available on your ComOrb. That said, buyers of illicit currencies should be aware that this autumn, Jagex will be turning their attention to citizens using Gillanorian gold to exchange it for illegal currencies. After that last announcement, Jagex teased some features in the distant future, like their application running on Linux-based ComOrbs. Our last story is a report from Ashenfall. The newly discovered continent is the home of dragons, but that has not stopped the expedition team from leaving Port Khazard and setting sail. The wise old man, Zanuck, Vanica, and Doric have established a lodestone and are now allowing brave adventurers to teleport out. My very own twin brother, Wallace Smithkite, has thrown together his report.
This is Wallace Smithcote on the continent of Ashenfall. The land is beautiful, but a nearby dragon by the name of Velgar does not seem too happy about our presence. I approached him for an interview and he had this to say. Confused as to what exactly we are doing here, I approached the wise old man for guidance.
What are we doing here? Oh boy, let me tell you. Do you know what dragons mean? Treasure. Do you know what a whole continent filled with dragons mean? An entire continent filled with treasure. I'm coming out of retirement, baby.
Treasure, of course. To everyone viewing at home, I must say, Ashenfall is beautiful, and I see the other adventurers that came through the lodestone doing some really neat stuff. I would encourage any adventurer that has not adventured into the Dragonwilds to do so. Back to you at the desk, Walter.
Why did Wallace's camera footage have a higher resolution than the one here at the studio? First, he steals my look with my mustache, and now he has the audacity to one-up my studio setup with a higher resolution camera? Mom, I know you're listening, but I cannot wait for Wallace to find out that there are no lodestones sending adventurers back to Gillanor. It is a one-way trip, brother. In any case, this wraps up our broadcast this morning. Thank you for listening. This is Walter Mythkite for GNN, signing out.